What's up, guys? Today I'm going to talk about 3 things that you absolutely, positively must know before you even consider doing a SUBTO transaction. I'm going to get into it. Stick around. All right, the first thing is you're going to need to know how to calculate the entry fee. So what's an entry fee? Check this out. When you close a transaction, you're going to be signing final documents at a closing table. You're going to be all excited. Close my first deal. I'm super stoked. Got my first investment property. When you're done signing those documents, money is going to need to go from somebody to somebody else. That money can be things like third-party fees, title, escrow, doc prep, notary. Maybe you bought the property from a wholesaler. There might be a fee in there for that wholesaler. Maybe the seller of the property wants to walk away with $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000. You're going to need to know what those numbers are. If you don't know what those numbers are, 1, you're not going to know how much money to bring to the closing table, but 2, you're not going to even know if you have a deal. So understanding entry fee and how to calculate it is so stinking important to understanding if a SUBTO deal is going to work or not. Numero dos, you need to understand exit strategies. Now, here's the thing. What is an exit strategy? An exit strategy is basically how we make money on the project or on the property, right? So we might acquire it one way, but how are we going to offload it and actually make money? And you might say, well, look, I just want to wholesale deals. Fantastic. You go and buy a property under market value and you sell it to another investor. How does that other investor make money? Are they going to wrap it? Are they going to flip it? Are they going to do a long-term rental, Airbnb? Now, understanding those exit strategies are going to allow you to evaluate whether or not a deal is a good deal or not. It allows you to get in there and say, does this make sense? How do we make money? And here's why this is important. Understanding the exit strategy is going to allow you to cherry pick the good deals for yourself. I found this really great property. Maybe I don't want to wholesale this because if I turn it into an Airbnb, it's going to cash flow this way for me. But you have to understand how those exit strategies work and how to be able to calculate the numbers. So understanding exit strategies are one of the most important. You have to know how to do it in order to win in this space. Number 3, and this is my favorite, and this is where everybody gets hung up, thinking you need money to do these types of deals. And you might say, Johnny, you mentioned as number 1, calculating entry fee and having money at the closing table. Makes sense. You do need to have access to money. Okay, you need to be able to go and borrow money in order to close the deal. So here's the thing. Everyone says, well, I don't know anybody who has any money. How would I potentially do that? Here's what you need to know. Finding money is actually easier than finding deals. And I'll give you an example. Let's pretend like somebody were to walk up to you and they have a ripped $10 bill and they say, Mr. or Mrs., I'm going to give you my ripped $10 bill if you just give me back a whole $5 bill. You might say, well, why would anyone want to do that? Well, maybe in this scenario, the person who brings you the torn 10 needs a whole 5 because they got to go to a vending machine and buy a Gatorade for their daughter who's playing soccer across the street. This would be motivation. They need a whole $5 bill. They've got a 10, but they're willing to exchange it for a 5, something of less value because it accomplishes what they needed to do. And you might say, that's awesome, but I actually don't have $5. Well, here's the question. Could you go find $5? Could you go to somebody and say, can I borrow $5 for like a day and I'll give you $6 tomorrow? Like, I have this really amazing deal. Like, I'm taking a $5 bill and I'm changing it for a $10 bill. I'm going to tape it, bring it to the bank, and they're going to give me a whole $10 bill, and I'll give you 6 of that. So here's the question in that scenario. What is easier to find, the $5 bill or the ripped $10 bill? The ripped $10 bill, the opportunity to change 5 for 10, that's harder to find. There are plenty of people with money who will fund your deals if you have a deal, if the numbers work. And that's why the first 2 things that I covered are so stinking important. Understanding what the entry fee is going to be, and then understanding the actually how we make money, right, on a deal. So my point is that you don't need money to do deals. You just need access to it. And that's why networking in this business, being a part of different groups are really important, because there are investors who are just on the sideline. They don't want to go look for deals. They don't want to cold call. They don't want to go door knock. They just said, look, I'm sitting on some money. I have some dough. I want to invest it, and I want to turn that money and make more money. And that's why people will invest and they will fund your deals, because they're trying to turn their money. So you bring the opportunity, they bring the money, and everybody wins. So if you're struggling to find deals, have consistent lead flow, understand how to write a letter of intent, what to send in terms of offers to either agents or sellers, or calculate opportunities and figure out what exit strategies are and entry fees and all this good stuff, how to lock up deals under contracts, I want to help. The second link in the description below is going to get you to my calendar. I open it up 7 days in advance. If there's a time slot, book it. We'll jump on a 30-minute call. We'll see how we can work together. Here's the thing. A lot of times it's booked out 7 days. If it's booked out 7 days, add your name to the waiting list. I will send you free training and access to my investors toolbox, a bunch of calculators and scripts, stuff to help you get going until a spot opens up. And then when spots open up, I'll send out an email and you can get plugged in. I only open it up 7 days in advance because what happens is when I open it up longer, people start flaking on me, which is really lame. I'm sitting in front of my computer wanting to work with people and do deals with them, and then they don't show up. It's super lame. So I only do it at 7 days in advance. So if there's nothing available on the calendar, just add yourself to the waiting list and you'll get notified when something opens up. Look forward to hearing from you guys. God bless.